Welcome students to online classes of mathematics for class 8. In this video we are going to study chapter number 11, which is mensuration of NCERT textbook. This one is the session number 1 for this particular chapter. Here we will be looking at the exercise 11.1. Myself Deepak Kodam, TGT Mathematics in Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. So let's start with today's class. The chapter number 11, mensuration, is divided into total 7 subtopics which are listed here, out of which we are going to study today the introduction part and the exercise 11.1. okay, so let's start the introduction part. First we are going to recall what we have already studied in the chapter in previous classes, like in class 6 and 7, the basic area and the perimeter of different 2D shapes. Okay, so first we have this rectangle whose figure is given here. Is this side is known as the length, and this A is representing its breadth. Okay, then the area of the rectangle is given as length into breadth, it is A into B. Okay, and the perimeter of the same is twice of A plus B. Okay, this is what you've already studied. Second is square. This is one the figure of a square having all four sides of equal measure, that is A and A. Then the area of square is given by the side into side, that is A into A, while the perimeter of a square is 4 times of side, that is 4A. Okay, next we have a triangle. Triangle is simply, we have this figure in which this B representing its base, or you can say side B, while this H is the perpendicular height of the triangle. Okay, then the area of triangle is given as the half into base into height. Okay, half into B into H. B is representing the base and H is representing the height of the triangle. Okay, so if you know the height of any triangle, you can find its area using this formula. Okay, then the perimeter of a triangle is the sum of the measure of all three sides, that is A plus B plus C. Okay, so if you add all the three sides of a triangle, you will get its perimeter. Okay, next is the parallelogram. Again, this B is representing the base side of the parallelogram, H is representing the height of the parallelogram. Okay, so the area of parallelogram is given as base into height. Okay, so the difference between the area of parallelogram and triangle is parallelogram is B into H, base into height, while the area of parallelogram is half of B into H. Okay, and the perimeter of the parallelogram is again the twice of A plus B, that is length in plus breadth, which is similar to the perimeter of rectangle. Okay, next is a circle. In this B, or you can take R. Okay, I'm taking R here. This R is representing the radius of the circle. Okay, then the area of parallelogram, the area of circle is given by pi r square. Okay, and in the case of our circle, we don't call it perimeter, we call it circumference. Okay, so this C is representing the circumference of the circle. Okay, perimeter and circumference are basically the same thing, but in the figure which have curved side or edge, in those figure we call it circumference instead of perimeter. Okay, because the perimeter is made up of only straight line, while if there is a curved surface, we call it circumference. Okay, so in case of circle, the circumference of the circle is given by 2 pi r square. Okay, this is what you've already studied in the previous classes, and I hope you all know. It is just to recall the previous knowledge. Okay, now based on this formula or this exercise, we have exercise 11.1. So now we're going to solve the question of 11.1. Let's move to the exercise now. Exercise 11.1 in total have 5 questions. Okay, we are going to do all the questions one by one now. Let's start with the first one. First question is, a square and a rectangular field with the measurement as given in the figure have the same perimeter. Okay, so we have a square and a rectangular field. Okay, and their measurement is given. It's the base side of a square field is 60 meter, and the base side of a rectangular field is 80 meter. Okay, since this one is a square, so it's all the side will be of same measure. That means this side will also be 60 meter, this will also be of 60 meter, and this will also be of 60 meter. Okay, but in case of rectangle, we are only given this length, not the breadth. So first we are going to find its breadth, given a condition that we are given that in the figure have the same perimeter. That means the perimeter of these two figures are equal. So using that information we can find the its breadth of the rectangular field. Okay, first we are going to find its breadth and we are going to calculate the area of both the figure and see which field has the larger area. Okay, so let's start with answer number 1. Okay, so first we have is we are going to calculate the area of the square field. Okay, all right, side of square field is equals to 60 meter. Okay, therefore perimeter of square field will be equals to, the perimeter of a square is given by 4 into side, that is you can say 4a. So side here is 60, so it will be 4 into 60 meter, that will be equals to 240 meter. So that is the perimeter for the square field. Okay, now we are going to calculate the perimeter of the rectangular field. Okay, so write and length of rectangular field is given as 80 meter. Okay, let's write it 80 meter. Okay, but we don't know its breadth, so assuming that to be b. Okay, so let's write let the breadth of rectangular field is equals to b meter. Okay, then the perimeter of the rectangular field will be, then perimeter of rectangular field will be equals to, the formula to calculate the perimeter of rectangle is twice of a plus b. Okay, a plus b. So we have 2, a is given as its length which is 80 meter, and b we have taken as b. Okay, meter. So now as in the question it's given that the perimeter of the two figure is same, that is perimeter of the two figure are equal. Okay, so right, given is the perimeter of square, you can say perimeter of rectangular field is equals to perimeter of square field, that is the perimeter of rectangle field from here is 2 into 80 plus b, which is equals to the perimeter of a square field which is 240 meter. Okay, so what equation we got here is that the twice of 80 plus b is equals to 240. Okay, now let's solve this. When you multiply the 2 inside the bracket you will get 160 here, this will be 2b equals to 240. Okay, so from here 2b will be, we have 240 here, this plus 160 will be minus 160 here. Okay, so b from here will be this 240 minus 160 is 80 meter, and this 2 will come in the division, so when you divide that 2 you will get the answer as 40 meter. Okay, so breadth of this rectangular field is here is 40 meter. Okay, so now we got the measurement of these field. Now we're going to calculate their area. Okay, so we'll write hence the area of square field, we know the area of square is given by side into side, that is the side of a square field is 60 meter into 60 meter. Okay, so 60 into 60 will be, so let's write first the formula, that is side into side. Okay, then side is 60 meter into 60 meter. When you multiply the two, you will get the result as 3600 meter square. Okay, so always the unit of a area is unit square, so unit here is meter, so it will be meter square. Okay, in similar way, and the area of rectangular field is given as, the area of rectangle is given by length into breadth. Okay, that is A, reconcile right, length into breadth. Length is 80 meter and breadth is 40 meter. When you multiply the two, the result is 3200 meters square. Okay, now as you can see, the area of the square field is more than the area of rectangular field. Okay, so we are asked to write or find which field has the larger area. Okay, so we can write, hence square field has larger area. Okay, so that's the answer to question number 1 of exercise 12.1. Okay, now moving to the next question. Question number 2 is, Mr. Kaushik has a square plot with the measurement as shown in the figure. She wants to construct a house in the middle of the plot. A green garden is developed around the house. Find the cost of developing green garden around the house. Okay, so she has a plot which is in the shape of a square. Okay, it's given the question. She has a square plot. Okay, the measurement of a square is given 25 meter and 25 meter. So all the four sides of this square field is 25 meter. Okay, and she wants to construct a house in the middle, so the measurement of house is also given. Its length is 20 meter and breadth is 15 meter. Okay, then the remaining part with a shaded one, a garden is developed around the house. We have to find the cost of developing the garden at the rate of 55 meter per, for 55 rupees per meter square. Okay, so first we need the area of this garden region. Okay, for that we're going to find the area of the square plot, then we're going to subtract the area of this rectangular house. Okay, then we'll get the area of the garden. Okay, and then multiplying them by the cost, you will get the total cost of developing the garden. Okay, so let's start the answer number 2. Okay, so first we're going to find the area of the plot. Okay, so first write, side of a square plot is 25 meter. Okay, so we'll write side of square plot is 25 meter. Okay, so the area of square plot will be given by side into side, that will be 25 meter into 25 meter. Okay, and we know 25 multiplied into 25, that is the square of 25 is 625, and the unit will be meter square. Okay, as I told, the unit of a square is always unit square. Okay, so unit here is meter, so it will be meter square. Now we are going to calculate the area of this rectangular house. Okay, and the area of rectangular house will be given by multiplying length into breadth, that is length into breadth. Length is given as 20 meter and breadth is given as 15 meter. Okay, so when we multiply the 20 into 15 is 300 unit will be again meter square. Okay, so this, by subtracting the area of the square from the area of the plot, we'll get the area of the garden field. Okay, so right, therefore area of remaining portion, you can say garden area. Okay, area of garden, area of garden will be equals to area of plot minus area of house, area of plot minus area of house. Okay, area of plot is 625 meter square and the area of house is 300 meter square. When we subtract the two, the result will be 325 meter square. So that's the area of the garden region. Okay, now we have to find the cost of developing this garden. At the rate of cost is 55 rupees per meter square. Okay, so we have the cost of developing the garden. The cost of developing garden is equals to rupees 55 per meter square. Okay, hence the total cost of developing garden will be equals to rate of cost into area. Okay, that is area into rate of cost. So area of the field of which we are going to calculate total developing cost is this 325 meters square, 325 meters square, and the rate of cost is rupees 55 per meter square. Okay, so when we multiply this 325 into 55, we'll get the result as 17,875 okay rupees. Cost will be in rupees. Okay, so the cost of developing the garden around the house is 17,875 rupees in total. Okay, so that's the answer of the question number 2 for this exercise. Now moving to the next question. The question number 3 is, the shape of the garden is a rectangular in the middle and semicircular at the end as shown in the diagram. Okay, we have to find the area and the perimeter of this garden. Okay, as you can see in the figure, there is a rectangular part in the middle and two semicircular part at the two ends. Okay, so we have to find both the area and the perimeter for this garden. Okay, so let's start by first writing its measurements. So we have the answer number 3. Okay, since this length is 7 meter, which is the diameter for the semicircle, so we can easily calculate its radius. Okay, so we'll write here the diameter of semicircle is equals to 7 meter. Okay, therefore we can write it right. So the radius of semicircle will be the half of this width, that is 3.5 meter. Okay, so if the diameter is 7, so radius will be half of this, which is 7.5 meter. Okay, now this gives that this length from the center of the semicircle is 3.5, which is the radius of this semicircle region. Similarly, the radius of this part will be 3.5. Hence the length of this rectangular region will be 20 minus 3.5 and 3.5. Okay, so I'll write, therefore the length of rectangular region will be, the total length is 20 meter, and we are going to subtract this 3.5 and 3.5, that is 3.5 plus 3.5. okay, so that will give us 20 minus 7, that is equals to 13 meter. okay, so the length of the rectangular field is 13 meter, this one, okay, and the breadth will be this 7 meter. okay, so we got all the measurement required for calculating the area and the perimeter. So now let's first calculate the area of all the parts. okay, so let's start. Now the area of rectangular region is length into breadth. Length of this is 13 meter and breadth is this length which is given here 7 meter. okay, so 13 meter into 7 meter, total will be 13 into 7 is 91 meter square. okay, so we got the area of this rectangular region. Now we're going to calculate the area of the semicircular part. Since we have two semicircles, they will combine to form a complete circle. okay, so we'll write, and the area of two semicircle. okay, so we have two semicircle, the area of circle is pi r square, so it will be 1 by 2 pi r square. okay, that's the area for this. So this 2 will be cancelled out, so what left is only pi r square. okay, so we have this pi is, let's take it as 22 by 7. R square means 3.5 into 3.5. okay, so eliminating this 0 or decimal, we get 0 here, removing this decimal, we get 0 here. okay, so we get 35 by 10 and 35 by 10. Now we're going to solve this. This 7 will give us 5 here. okay, then this 5 will give us 2 here. When you divide this 2, you will get 11 here. okay, so again dividing by it, will get 7 here and 2 here. okay, and after multiplying this 11 into 7, will get 77 by 2. okay, so 77 by 2 is 38.5 meter square. okay, now the area of this total garden will be, all right, therefore the area of entire garden will be equals to, here we have the area of the rectangular region is 91 meter square, and the area of two semicircle is 38.5 meter square. When we add the two, the result will be 129.5 meter square. So that's the area of the garden. Now we're going to calculate as perimeter. okay, so let's write, and the perimeter of garden will be equals to, now you have to understand one thing here, perimeter is the total length of this outer side. okay, so this side is semicircle, that is this will be the half of the perimeter of the circle. Again this is semicircle, so this will be the half of the perimeter of circle, and this middle part is a rectangle. But as we know, the perimeter of rectangle is twice of L plus B, length plus breadth. okay, but its breadth are included in the inside of the triangle, that means they are not comprising the outer boundary. So we're going to eliminate these two sides. okay, so its perimeter will be the sum of the two semicircle, perimeter of two semicircle, plus the only the two opposite side of the rectangular field. okay, and that will be 13 meter plus 13 meter. okay, that is these two sides. Then we have this semi perimeter of the 2 circle means the perimeter of the one entire circle, that is 2 pi r. Okay, so this 13 plus 13 will be 26 meter, and we have 2 pi, let's take 22 by 7, and r is 3.5. okay, by removing the decimal we get 10 here. This 7 will give us 5, this 5 we cancel by 10, we'll get 2 here, and this 2 will be cancelled by this 2 here. Okay, so what remains is only 26 meter plus 22 meter. So that's when you add the two, answer will be 48 meter, not square. Okay, so that's the answer for the 2. Simply what we did is the perimeter will be for this figure will be, it will not include these two sides. Okay, as these don't comprise the outer boundary of the shape. The garden is only these sides and the semicircular region. Okay, so we have added the first these two sides, and we have calculated the two semicircle will comprise the one complete circle. So this perimeter of circle is given by 2 pi r. After solving this, we got the result as 48 meter. Okay, so we'll write, hence the perimeter of the garden is equals to, hence the perimeter of garden is equals to 48 meter. Okay, so that's the answer of the question number 3. Now moving to the next question, we have a flooring tile has a shape of a parallelogram whose base is 24 centimeter and corresponding height is 10 centimeter. Okay, how many such tiles are required to cover a floor of area 1080 meters square? So what we have is, we have a tile which is in the shape of parallelogram whose base and the height are given. So we can calculate the area of this tile. Okay, that will give us the area of one tile. The one thing that you have to notice here is the measurement of the tiles are given in centimeter, while the area of the floor is given in meter. So we have to make all the units same, either all should be in centimeter or all should be in meter. Okay, so when I'm going to convert these into meter. Okay, so let's start the answer number 4. So we have the base of a parallelogram tile is equals to 24 centimeter. Okay, the base of parallelogram tile is equals to 24 centimeter, and if we convert this to meter, it will be divided by 100, so we'll get 0.24 meter. Okay, and the height of tile is equals to 10 centimeter. Okay, and 10 centimeter converted to meter will divide this by 100, so answer will be 0.10 meter. Okay, or you can say 0.1 meter, 0.1 meter. So this is the its base, and this one is height. Okay, which is converted to the meter. Now the area of the one tile will be given by, now the area of one tile, as the tile is in the shape of parallelogram and the area of parallelogram is given by base into height. So this will be, base here is 0.24 meter, while the height of this is 0.1 meter. Okay, so what we are going to do is, now we'll multiply the two. So this 0.24 meter into 0.1 will result as 0.024 meter square. So that's the area of one tile. Okay, and the area of floor is given as 1080 meters square. Okay, and the area of floor is given as 1080 meters square. Okay, now in order to calculate the number of tiles which are required, as we are asked, okay, how many such tiles are required. So number of tiles required will be, we'll divide this area by the area of one tile. Okay, so right, therefore number of tiles required will always divide the total area of floor by the area of one tile. Area of one tile, that is, we have 1080 meter square divided by 0.024. Okay, so if we remove this decimal, we'll get 1000 here. Okay, and this, when you solve this, you will get the result as 45,000 tiles. Okay, after solving this by dividing and multiplying, you will get the result as 45,000 tiles. So that's the number of tiles required for covering the entire floor. Okay, so that's the answer of question number 4. Now moving to the next one, we have question number 5. It's an interesting question. Question is, an ant, which is given here, is moving around a few food pieces of different shapes scattered on the floor. For which food piece would the ant have to take a longer round? Okay, that means this ant is moving around all these food which are of different shapes, so we have to calculate for which food she has to cover a longer distance. Okay, and we are given that the circumference of this is 2 pi r and r is the radius of the circle. Okay, so let's start with the first food piece, that is answer number 1, not 1, answer number 5, part A. Okay, here as the diameter of this food piece is given as 2.8 centimeter, so its radius will be 1.4 centimeter. Okay, so we'll write the diameter of the food piece will be given as, the diameter is given as 2.8 centimeter. Okay, so the radius will be half of this will be, which will be 1.4 centimeter. Okay, now we can calculate the perimeter of the semicircular part. Okay, so let's write, therefore the perimeter of semicircle, okay, as it is given in the question also, this C gives the circumference of this entire circle, but we have only semicircle here, so its perimeter will be given by pi r only. Okay, since we have this semicircle, that will be, let's take pi is 22 by 7 and r is 1.4 centimeter. Okay, by removing this decimal we get 10 here, and by dividing this 7 will give us 2 here, and this 2 into 4, this 2 into 22 is 44, divided by 100 will give us 4.4 centimeter. Okay, so that's the perimeter of the semicircular part. Okay, which is 4.4 centimeter. Now we are going to add this to this length, which is 2.8 centimeter. So right, and the perimeter of entire food piece will be this semicircular part plus this straight line bar, which is 2.8 centimeter. And when we add the two, the result will be this 2.8 plus 4 will give us 7.2 centimeter. So that's the length the ant has to cover around this food piece. Okay, which is 7.2 centimeter. Now let's see for the food piece sec B. Again here we have the semicircular part. Okay, and for which we have already calculated the area of the semicircular part, because the radius of the two is same. Okay, so we'll use the above one. Okay, so that is, the perimeter of semicircular is the perimeter of semicircle is equals to 4.4 centimeter, as we have calculated that here already. Okay, this one. Now the total perimeter will be this semicircular part and these three straight lines. Okay, this, as this one is 2.8, so this will also be of 2.8, and this one is 1.5, so this will also be 1.5. okay, so let's write the perimeter of entire food piece. So the perimeter of entire food piece will be the semicircular part, which is 4.4, plus this above part is 2.8, and then we have 1.5 and 1.5, so this will be 2.8, and 1.5 plus 1.5 is, you can also write it as 3 directly. Okay, so now let's add all this 1.5 plus 1.5 is 3, and then this 2.8 and 4.4 is 7.2. okay, so 7.2 plus 3 will be 10.2 centimeter. okay, as we have already done this above, the sum of these two is 7.2, and then we have this 3. okay, it's done above. The sum of 4.4 and 2.8 is 7.2, and these 1.5 and 1.5 is 3, so the total is 10.2. okay, so this food B is, for food B the ant has to travel a slightly longer length. okay, let's see for the food piece C. okay, for this again we have the semicircular part, this one, and then these two are the straight lines. okay, which are of 2 centimeter 2 centimeter. So directly we'll write the perimeter of semicircle is 4.4 centimeter. okay, so we'll write, so the perimeter of entire food piece will be 4.4 plus we have 2 centimeter plus 2 centimeter. When we add the two, the result will be 8.4 centimeter. okay, so now by looking at the perimeter of all three, we can easily see the ant has to travel the longer distance for the food particle or food piece B. okay, so I'll write, hence the ant has to cover the longer length for food particle, or you can say food piece B. okay, so that's the answer of this question number 5 of the exercise 11.1. With this we have covered all the 5 questions of this exercise. Now you have to practice all this question multiple times so that you can understand them better. okay, so that's all for now. Thanks for